Okay, boxing fans. Last night, Miguel Cotto defied me, defied the odds, defied almost everybody. Well, a lot of people, not everybody. And beat Sergio Martinez to become the first four-weight world champion from Puerto Rico. He fought a great fight. I didn't see that coming. I picked Sergio Martinez to win. I was wrong. I can admit that. It was a very bad performance by Sergio Martinez. He admitted it in the post-fight. He got caught cold, could never recover. It was the best ever Miguel Cotto I have ever seen, especially in recent times. And he becomes the WBC middleweight champion. That is also the lineal championship. And I'm going to tell you something else now. In life, every reaction has a positive or negative reaction. It's fact. This is just how it is. Can't deny this. And we'll look at the reactions that are going to happen from this taking place. The fight is now over. We look to the future. Well done to Miguel Cotto, but what are you going to now do in the future? This is a guy who was actually, I don't know how you'd rate him as a middleweight because he looked really good, but Martinez himself was not exactly a middleweight. But he is now the lineal champion at middleweight, which means he is number one. He has jumped the queue over the likes of Sam Solomon, who has just won the IBF title. He has jumped the queue over Peter Quillen, who has won and defended his title undefeated. He has jumped the queue over Triple G, who is undefeated, the most feared man in middleweight, and nobody wants to fight him. Every reaction has a positive and negative reaction. People are already talking about different fights that Miguel Cotto could take in his next few fights. One of the fights that people are thinking about making includes Canelo Alvarez at middleweight. So Canelo Alvarez, if he would win, would become the WBC lineal middleweight champion without ever facing anybody in the division. Or, in fact, let's take Miguel Cotto out of the equation for a minute. If he beats Miguel Cotto, he'll have still fought no career middleweight. I'm just putting that out. That is a fact. If Miguel Cotto goes on to fight Floyd Mayweather at middleweight and they fight at a catch weight, say 155 pounds, it will suit both of them down to the ground. It will be a big money fight. It will probably be the best fight that could happen to Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto and Showtime if that was to happen. If that was to happen and Floyd Mayweather wins, he becomes the WBC lineal middleweight champion once again without facing any career middleweights, jumping the queue, becoming number one, and then we're at the precipice of who is that person going to fight next. Is he going to fight a middleweight? Is he going to fight A, Peter Quillen, B, Triple G, or C, Sam Solomon? Is he going to fight any of those guys? The answer is probably no, and I can count that in for Canelo as well, because even though I respect Canelo a bit more in the fact that his opponent selection is, I would say, better in recent years than Floyd Mayweather, I don't think either of them have the stones to get in the ring and face Triple G. I don't think either of them have any need in facing Sam Solomon, since Sam Solomon is not a big ticket seller, he's not well known, and as for Peter Quillen, you can pick either one that you want to use for that, because I don't think he's that good, to be honest, but he's just there, and I thought I'd use him as an example. He's a world champion, and if there's 4 titles in a division, surely that you're going to go get them both, all the rest of them, right? Maybe not. We'll see. So, Miguel Cotto is the WBC lineal middleweight champion. He is number one. He has jumped the queue and is now ahead of the likes of Gennady Golovkin. The question is, will he fight Gennady Golovkin next? This is up to you. Do you think he'll fight Gennady Golovkin next? Because people are already talking about, like I said, Mayweather rematch, Canelo rematch. These are not good fights for boxing. They're good fights for business, but they're not good fights for boxing. The best fight that could happen in terms of boxing would be Miguel Cotto faces Triple G. That way there will be a lineal middleweight champion, and he would actually be the number one middleweight in the world. No doubt. It'll be pretty undisputed. I guess they could then offer it to Sam Solomon and Peter Quillen if they are going to take the fight, but, Peter Quillen's not exactly fought the greatest competition, so I don't know if he would then go on to take the fight. But for argument's sake, what do you think is going to happen now? Do you think the reaction will be from this fight that Triple G will get his big name, he'll get his chance? Because don't forget, Martinez didn't have any interest in fighting Golovkin too. I've got to put this out there. He's a very good champion, Martinez, in the fact that he was very humble in defeat. He said he didn't blame his knee, he blamed the punches. He said, I got caught early, couldn't recover. You know, Miguel Cotto was a good fighter, that's what he said. So, but even he didn't want to fight Gennady Golovkin. So, that's my post-fight video. What do you think about the positive and negative reaction? I'm sure that the likes of Canelo versus Cotto would be a very good fight. I think it would be a very fan-friendly, good fight, but it's not a good fight for boxing and the history of boxing and stuff like that. It won't be good. Canelo wouldn't deserve that WBC title shot, being at the chance to become the #1 middleweight in the world. He wouldn't deserve it. But this is the thing that a lot of people, I think, including myself, need to forget now. You can't rate these guys anymore along like saying who is the lineal champion, who is the very best. It's down to opinion now, because basically they don't really fight each other that often, and they make it hard for you, really. They make it hard for you. I think the days of the best fights the best are long gone, and now it's the best who makes the most money fights the next guy who will make them a lot of money, or for the least risk. You know, I think that's boxing nowadays. But well done to Miguel Cotto making history. Miguel Cotto can go on now and maybe make history. The thing is, this is my thing on this. If Miguel Cotto goes on to take on Triple G, win or lose, he can walk away from the sport and say, well, I was the linear middleweight champion for a bit. You know, I fought this other guy and this is what happened. Who knows what happens, because we don't know yet. Miguel Cotto could win, Miguel Cotto could lose. If he goes away and says, well, you know, I fought Floyd Mayweather again for the title, or I fought Canelo Alvarez for the title, he could win, he could lose. So, it's just annoying. It's just annoying that the positive and negative reaction, most of the time in boxing, is negative. And in this case, the best thing that could have happened would have been, well, I don't know actually what the best thing would have been, because if Martinez won, he probably still wouldn't have fought Triple G. If Cotto won, I don't see him fighting Triple G. Either way, I think the same thing's going to happen either way. Triple G's still not going to get a fight against these guys, and that is that.